What are the challenges for data center site selection? What are the most important factors to be taken into consideration?
Right. To put the location of focus into China, I would say a lot of the site selections in China have encountered a lot of challenges. First of all, there is a lot of cities and a lot of government practice. North, east, south, west, where do you want to be? First tier city, second tier city. The difference for China being a big country compared to, say, the US is the urbanization and economic development has a huge difference in terms of where your network supplier is, what are the local practice, rules and regulations. So in terms of site selection, you really have to consider the regional difference in terms of, as well as all the cities' difference.
Land and build to suit and conversion, how to make the optimal decision?
Right. So a lot of our clients are coming to us and say, do we buy land and build our own data center, or do we build to suit, or do we choose converting a building? So there's a lot of criteria that you can start thinking about. If you want a very highly customized building, you might want to buy land and build on your own. Or if you really need speed to market and less risk in terms of how fast you can build a data center and how fast you can deploy, you might want to simply convert a building. Well, in China, there's also a lot of consideration into the rules and regulation to do with land. So you really need to understand land policy and all the regulatory environment when you try to establish a data center. Land policy is a very challenging consideration factor, and the land policy in every city is very different. In terms of build to suit, it's a very popular topic right now. There's a lot of clients who really don't have the capacity to build a data center, but they also want to engage a professional developer to do it for them. So you have also the pros and cons of doing a build to suit decision, whether eventually you want to lease from them or you just want to buy the building from them. You really have to find a developer who knows what they're doing, not just a generic developer outside, because they need to understand what data center is all about. And in terms of the location choice, also the developer that you choose might not have the ability to get the location or land site that you want. So you really have to go side by side with them to find the location you want.
So what is the role of consulting firms in this market? How do you add value to data center investor and end users?
Right. We're the very few real estate consultants who have specialization in data center in China. In terms of building your own data center or making a new investment in the data center, you really want to understand the land policy or the building related regulations. How do you calculate your investment values and all the investment parameters. If you want to own your own building, what are your holding periods? So as a consultant, we can give you the market benchmark, we can give you the benchmark against other real estate products, and we can also identify investors who might want to invest in your data center.
May I know what are the recent policy changes might have impacts on site selection of data center?
Right. In China, there is a lot of regulation about restricting data center establishment in Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen. So we see a lot of challenge for operators who still want to locate a data center in these core cities. And then there's a lot of central government promotion to locate your cloud data center or other data centers in maybe more energy efficient location, for example, Inner Mongolia, Guiyang province, or less developed area. So you really have to think where is the optimum location for yourself, and also depends what type of data center you're building. And in each of the location, you will find totally different land policy, establishment policy, and related tax policy. So you really have to look down into your location.
The last one, how do you think of DCD event?
DCD event is great. I've just had my presentation, and there was a lot of showed up, and there's a lot of questions. The The good thing I like it is because you have a different perspective into data center. I learned new things today from equipment provider, a new solution provider, and us as a real estate consultant, we also share our views into how you optimize your investment.